Hey guys, this is Jack of Hats, and we're going to talk about the Treasury for a second. Now this is going to be a little plain for a first video because we're not watching 3-star attacks or anything, but I've been asked this question a few times already, and I think it's worth mentioning. Since the recent patch, Supercell loves to go on about how greatly protected the loot inside of a treasury is, and without a little bit of research it actually sounds untouchable. Though it's a good place to keep some of your loot some of the time, other times it can actually be the worst place to keep your loot. Let me explain. First off, you can definitely steal resources from the treasury. 3% of them are stolen if the CC is completely destroyed, and that's actually relatively low compared to regular storages, which sit anywhere between 20% and 10% depending on your town hall level. Since the number is different for dark elixir storages, we'll cover gold and purples. But before that, assumptions. We're going to assume that A, I'm a Town Hall 9 because I am, and B, that my base gets 100% 3-starred for simplicity. Right, so regularly I can either get rated for 14% or for 350,000 of my stuff, whichever is lower. When I don't have very many resources, I'm going to get rated for 14%, but when I start saving up, say for an expensive upgrade, I'll most likely get hit for the full 350,000. For a Town Hall 9, that threshold is crossed at 2.5 million. After that, I will always only lose 350,000, even if I had 100 million, for example, because 350,000 is lower than the 14% of that. Now with that in mind, let's think about the treasury. I can always lose 3% of what is in my treasury, and because it's not a storage, it doesn't pay attention to the 350,000. So if I had 3 million gold in my storage and 1 million gold in my treasury, not only would I lose the maximum amount of gold from my storages, but now I would also lose 3% of my treasury, bringing my 350,000 lost up to 380. On the contrary, if my treasury was empty and my storages had all 4 million of them, I would only lose the maximum amount of 350. The same goes for dark elixir storages, except the steal rate is only 5% or 2.5 thousand, again, whichever is lower. It's the same idea, just different numbers. That's not to say that the treasury loot is always bonus loot for the enemy, though. Like, if I had 1 million gold in my storages and 1 million in my treasury, I'd only get robbed for 170,000. Whereas if I collected it and had 2 million gold in my storages, suddenly I'd get robbed for 280,000. The resource cap at every level changes, every town hall level, like. So I'll put some links in the description so that you can look up what your cap is, and try to remember that if you're below your cap, to hang on to them in the treasury. But if you're above your cap, then just collect it, like, because why not? As a side note, this reasoning works with both dark elixir and gold and purple, but because they have different caps, you often have to choose between the two. Say maybe you have a lot of dark elixir but no gold or elixir, or maybe you've got a lot of gold but no dark. By that point, the rest is sort of up to you. Just pick your favorite resource and kind of roll with it, I guess. But in any case, I'm Jack of Hats, and we'll see you next year.